Alrighty, so UFC Merab Dvalishvili versus Peter Yan 2, aka UFC 323, has taken place. I am extremely sick. I have a pretty high fever right now, and my head's very dizzy. I've been sick for a couple days, but fuck it. Alright, we gotta clock in. Corporate's reached out. We gotta get these videos out. So I apologize if you hear some coughing, sniffling, or if my voice sounds a little bit off. I will normally I talk pretty fast, I think. I probably will be talking slower in this video. And this is going to be an event recap of UFC 323. I do this for every single fight card, so if you feel like sticking around, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I swear normally I'm not sick. Um, and yeah, I'm recording this the day after, mainly because I was so fucking tired. I was literally falling asleep in the main event, even though it was sick. We'll get to it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's start off with the early prelims of Muhammad Naimov. I did pretty well in this event. If I remember, I'll have the numbers at the end. I think I went 8-5 if you remove the draw that happened. I believe I went 8-5. Yeah. I did really well until the final two fights of the card. It would have been 8-3, but it is what it, or it would have been 10-3. Would have been amazing event. This might be my favorite event I think I've ever watched. God, I wish I had more energy. Yeah, this was a sick event. Like, even me being sick as shit, I enjoyed almost every single fight. I think I enjoyed every single fight. Even ones I got wrong and stuff like that, but I sort of killed it with my predictions. I did really, really well in my opinion for it being the last event and there being a lot of upset potential. But yeah, let's start off with Muhammad Naimov that took on Myron the Frog Santos. I went with Naimov. I thought Naimov was good, and you had to finish him in order to really beat him. Turns out Myron Santos did finish him. And yeah, I mean, he got it done. Myron Santos is good. I think he's overall good. Naimov was even losing until Myron got the finish, in my opinion. Naimov's just not that good, turns out. Very overrated, now that we know. I just thought Naimov would have been tough enough to survive, and I thought he would have been smart enough to shoot takedowns. And, Myron Santos really hasn't gone through uh, too many good names yet, and I think Naimov is a good name. But that's probably not gonna age that well. But yeah, Myron Santos got it done. Finished him in the third round. I thought he won maybe rounds 1 and 2. Naimov really couldn't figure out anything. And I want to say this was a ground and pound situation, if I remember correctly. It wasn't like a Naimov was out cold situation, but yeah, Naimov got he got fucked up pretty bad. And yeah, I got my first prediction wrong of the card. It is what it is. We move on. Mansour Abdul Malik. I'm also gonna try to be very short with some of these breakdowns. I'm still sick, so I don't want to get I don't want to make it worse. I've got like doctor's appointments and shit that I gotta get to. And I'm waiting on a call from another. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, yeah, Mansour Abdul Malik versus Tricoli. I went with Mansour Abdul Malik. I think I went with decision actually. Hold on. I was not expecting Mansour Abdul Malik to do as well as he did. Or I guess I wasn't expecting Tricoli to just be as bad as he was. Tricoli's bad. He is bad. He's just a big dude. And I think as we're progressing in the UFC, size advantage really doesn't mean that much at all. And yeah, Tricoli sucks. He got smoked. Almost got finished via TKO, and then Mansour was just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna go for, I think it was a Darce. No, it wasn't a Darce. Well, it was like a standing guillotine or some shit on a 6'5" giant. Very bad look for Tricoli. Get him out. I think he's Mackenzie Dern's boyfriend or something like that. But you bet your sweet Bippy you probably saw Tricoli at the fucking betting tables in Las Vegas. I think this was Las Vegas. Um, but yeah, Mansour Abdul Malik whooped on Tricoli as he should have done. I just wasn't expecting him to be that good. I still think Mansour Abdul Malik's like a little fraudulent. Like I don't know if he'll be ranked. It's skill set wise, he seems like he would, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Don't like that Cody Brundage performance. We move on. One of the sickest fights I think I've seen all year. Iwo Baraneski, who smoked Muhammad Ali not that long ago, versus Ibo Aslan. I wasn't expecting Ibo to be as aggressive as he was. I was really expecting Ibo to be like an NPC, like the Billy Elkanah fight. Ibo went in there, got cracked pretty bad from Ibo. Then Ibo was like, or Aslan, I should say. Aslan was like teeing off, knocked down Iwo, I think 2 or 3 times, but Iwo kept on throwing back. Like he get wobbled pretty bad, and then he'd throw back. And it was just overall just a back and forth. Someone was gonna die basically in round one. And it ended up being Aslan. This was a 50-50. Like in terms of how the round was going, because both of these guys were just slugging it out. And yeah, Iwo got it done. He's now beat Muhammad Ali and the great Ibo Aslan, the Turkish Power, I think his nickname is, or something like that. But yeah, Iwo got it done. Sick fight. It'll be interesting to see where Iwo goes, because light heavyweight's a pretty shit division. And if Iwo's putting out people like Ibo, bro, this I think he's Polish, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy might be the real deal Polish power here. So this is gonna be interesting to see where Baranowski's career ends up. But yeah, I'll be rooting for this guy. Moving on, Ibo Aslan, cut him. I think that's 4 fights in a row. Get him out. We move on. Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner. I went with Jalen Turner. Oh, by the way, I went with Ibo. I went with Ibo. Yeah, I think I said that. Anyways. Jalen Turner fought Edson Barbosa. I went with Jalen Turner. If you know ball, you know ball. I like Edson Barbosa. I wish Edson Barbosa won. Edson Barbosa, for a while, was like my favorite fighter. And I'm a little bit younger in the game. I've only been watching for about 3 years. Or over 3 years, I should say at this point. He was my favorite fighter for a while, and that Sadiq Yusuf fight was probably one of my favorites to watch. But yeah, Edson Barbosa just don't got it anymore. He moved up a weight class, and he had a really shit performance against Drakkar Close. Listen, he did well, and he was like low kicking Jalen Turner and shit. Jalen Turner just has a shit ton of power, and even though he's dumb and his grappling suspect, Jalen Turner is still like powerful, and he's really really good with like the short guys who don't really have great boxing defense, I guess. And that's something Edson really showcased. He just doesn't have it anymore. Dude, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like muscle memory. Edson would have his hand up and it would be in the wrong spot. Almost like it's like a tutorial boss where it's like, oh, he has his hand up. So now you strike where his hand isn't up. You know? Like he put his hand up, but he just wouldn't move it to defend a strike. He'd have it here. Jalen would pop him, and then he'd decide to keep it still here. Like, brother, what are we doing? You know? Like guard the shot. What are you doing out there, Edson? But yeah, sucks to see Edson got finished in round one. Sick performance from Jalen Turner. Still has like all the talent in the world and shit. And even though he is physically advantageous in almost all of his fights, I still don't think he's gonna get like ranked. I don't think he's ranked right now. Yeah, he came off retirement for this fight, by the way, after he baby raged losing after getting fucking armbarred, where he put his own arm and head into that submission. I think it was from Ignacio. Yeah. But yeah, Jalen Turner got it done. Got the prediction right, unfortunately. I think I even went with round 1 KO. Um, yeah, Jalen just hits different. Edson just doesn't defend strikes like that well at all. But yeah, we move on. Marvin Vettori, Bruno Ferreira. I went with Bruno. I like Bruno. I thought Bruno was gonna win, probably by KO, because Marvin just eats shit. But eventually you can't eat shit. Turns out Marvin Vettori is the CTE king. He will have the most brain mush of any fighter ever. Ever. I really think it's gonna be a rough night for Marvin in his old age, but dude can still take a shot. Didn't get dropped. Um, and yeah, I think round 1 was Marvin's round, based on outlanding, and I thought round 2 and 3 were pretty clear Bruno Ferreira. Bruno just landed way, way better, and that's just all it came down to. You know, Marvin would miss, maybe he'd land like a 1-2. Bruno lands one fucking overhand right, or like a really nice jab as he's going in. And because Marvin's too dumb to keep volume up, and this is why I was really confident in Bruno Ferreira winning this one, Marvin's just too dumb to try to win a round. It's as simple as that, you know? And I even said it in the Brendan Allen fight, or I said it for the Brendan Allen fight breakdown. If this guy won't grit down and shit after having a family member pass, I can't trust him to grit down in a random fight way after that whole situation, you know? And as shitty as I might be for bringing that up, dude, I feel like when a family member passes, that is a motivation to go out there and like put your whole heart out there. Dude, Marvin just doesn't have fucking heart. Like, it is what it is. He's got God's greatest chin, but he just doesn't have any heart. I don't know what happened. It's just Marvin's just too dumb. Maybe it is CTE or something, but yeah, Bruno Ferreira is just really, really good. And listen, like, he'll gas out, but you have to bring a pace to him for him to gas out, you know? That's why he lost to, I want to say, Abus Magomedov, you know? Like, you really, really have to, like, bring some sort of pace or danger against Bruno Ferreira in order to beat him. But yeah, Marvin Vettori loses. I got the pick right. Bruno Ferreira did really, really well. We move on. Nazim Sadikov versus Faris Ziam. I picked Faris Ziam. I don't like either of these dudes. Let me just get that out of the way. Nazim Sadikov in his last fight, like, that was the biggest red flag I think I've ever seen. He should have been TKO'd, in my opinion, against Nicholas Mata. Nicholas Mata teed off for like 3 minutes, and the ref just didn't care. And then, of course, Nicholas Mata gassed out and then got finished. Nazim Sadikov, in a lot of his fights, he's losing until he wins. And I think a lot of people were on Sadikov. Like, a lot of people were on Sadikov for this fight. At least from when I was watching prediction people. But yeah, I went with Ziam because Ziam I've seen do well in the grappling. I've seen do well in the striking. I've seen win rounds. I've seen go through a tough couple rounds and make a comeback. You know, like I've seen Frias Ziam really use his talent and use his skill set properly. Sadikov, he's what, like finished Terrence McKinney? Okay. Other than that, what else? Oh, he cut Ismail Bonfim, who we know isn't that good. Like, I don't know. I just really didn't see it with the Sadikov thing. You know? Sadikov seems like he relies on plot armor, and he knows he relies on plot armor. But, yeah, Frosium, I think, started with an early takedown in round 1. dominated round one, and then round two, similar situation for Asiam. And here's the thing too, Sadikov looked completely lost out there. Dude, he literally, like, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing in there. Like, he initiated a clinch, got reversed, and put against the cage. And then Farasiam's just like, alright, fuck it, we're just gonna sit here, because now I'm gonna win this round. And Sadikov's looking frustrated. Brother, you initiated the clinch. Huh? What? That's like shooting a takedown, it getting reversed, and you being like, ah, fuck, what can you do? You're an idiot. You know? And yeah, Sadikov got pretty fucked up. In round two, he still looked lost on the feet. Like, on the feet, he had nothing. He couldn't land shit on the... Yeah, wow, 7 strikes. He couldn't land shit on the feet. He had no idea what he was doing on the feet. And Frosiam just dominated completely. And then Sadikov would try to initiate a clinch, and then he just got reversed again. And then eventually Faras, like, lulled him in this sort of, you're down 2 rounds, you're going to need a finish in the third. And then all of a sudden, Frosiam turns it up from, like, a 3 out of 10 on the serious scale to, like, 11 out of 10. Lands that nice little elbow as they're sort of breaking, and Sadikov gets fucked up, like, real bad. He gets dropped pretty bad from that elbow, and then Frosiam just sort of finishes it with some pepper on top, you know? Sadikov just had nothing this whole fight. So, yeah, Frosiam's good. Moving up in the world. I think he's French, so good for the French. Sadikov sucks. We move on. Maycee Barber, Karine Silva. Don't care. Maycee Barber won. I coin flipped this one, and it landed on Karine Silva. Don't care. Yeah, Maycee Barber won. She got illegally upkicked twice. They didn't remove a point because they just don't care anymore. But yeah, Maycee Barber won. We move on. Terrence McChinney versus Chris Duncan. I went with Chris Duncan, man. A lot of people went with Terrence McKinney, and I kind of get it. He is good. But, dude, he starts whooping, and then you notice, like, you see it. Whenever he's teeing off, he doesn't move his fucking head. He just doesn't. And when you have a bad chin like Terrence McKinney, and you're not moving your fucking head, big problem. You know? And he started this round teeing off on Chris Duncan. Wobbled Chris pretty bad. But yeah, Chris just kept on throwing back, and eventually he landed a few times. Got Terrence McKinney thinking twice about trying to tee off. And then I think somehow... fuck. Somehow a clinch got initiated, and once Chris got the clinch, he pushed Terrence McKinney against the cage, landed a nice little short elbow, dropped Terrence McKinney very badly, then proceeded to land like 20 significant strikes. Or I guess insignificant strikes because they were just happy. And they could have stopped the fight there, but eventually Chris Duncan was just like, bro, fuck this. And he just went for an anaconda, got it instantly because Terrence McKinney was most likely out of it, still from that elbow. And Terrence McChinney lives up to his name, and both being chinny. And I think I even went with Chris Duncan sub round 1. I think I said it was going to be a club and sub. And I was completely fucking right. Hey, another vintage pick by me. You know, I'm sick of shit, and I'm still pulling off some of these big W's. We move on. Great for Chris Duncan. I love Chris Duncan. This guy's great. He is what Paul Craig could have been if Paul Craig had a good chin. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. This would have been the last fight I would have got wrong if the main event and co-main event didn't end the way they did, but I think I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah, I went with Grant Dawson because he's really fucking good, and I thought he had a better chin. Turns out he's got a shit chin still. And I think Manuel Torres landed one strike on the chin, and it put out Grant Dawson cold. And Grant Dawson's striking is ugly, but sometimes ugly striking works. Um, yeah, I don't know what the fuck Grant Dawson was doing. He kept on doing this really weird overhand right thing where he dip his head down and throw an overhand right. And Manuel Torres weathered the storm, I guess. And then he just found his shot, and Grant Dawson didn't even shoot a takedown like a fucking idiot. Or I guess he did. I don't remember him doing it. Um, that's weird. They were shit shots then. Those must have been like way out of distance shots. I don't remember him shooting a single takedown. That's weird. But yeah, Manuel Torres was just like biding his time, and he landed a nice little fucking right hand right on the chin. Shout out Jacob Beaumont Picks for making Manuel Torres lock of the week. I would have never done it. I was very confident in Grant Dawson. Turns out Grant Dawson's chin will always be suspect in every fight. It just is what it is. But yeah, Manuel Torres proved that he belongs in the rankings of lightweight with this one, in my opinion. You know, I don't think Grant Dawson was ranked. He might have been ranked. But yeah, we move on. Jan Blachowicz, Bogdan Guskov. I went with Bogdan Guskov, and this was a draw. And I get it. I think it's completely justified. Round one was really close, in my opinion. And I think there's an argument you could even say round one was Bogdan's, but Jan won it, at least on the scorecards, and I get it. Jan was, I think, outlanding Bogdan, even though Bogdan, in my opinion, landed a little bit of the better strikes. It's just that towards the end of the round, he didn't really land anything. And then in round two, Bogdan drops Jan very, very badly. Gets on top, lands some elbows, breaks Jan's fucking nose, makes Jan scream on the ground, and Jan only had a heel hook attempt, which was shit. Barely in. And when I say barely in, it wasn't in, like, at all. Dude, Bogdan was staring at him as he was going for the heel hook, and Bogdan's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he was smiling, you know? But yeah, I fucked up Jan Blachowicz really bad in round two. I gave it an instant 10-8. I thought that was like one of the most justifiable 10-8s I've ever seen. And then in round three, Jan Blachowicz did really well. Was winning the round and then dropped Bogdan Guskov in the final like 10 seconds. So I get it. Round 1 and 3 are Jan Blachowicz, but you give Bogdan a 10-8 in round 2. I think it's justified. I think it's completely fair. I like Jan Blachowicz and I like Bogdan Guskov. They're not going to run it back. I've seen a lot of people say that. They're not going to run it back. They're going to give Bogdan probably someone below him, and then they're going to give Jan Blachowicz. I really hope they don't cut Jan Blachowicz. They'll probably give Jan Blachowicz like a fucking Ozdemir or something, you know? But yeah, we move on. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Peyton, the spot, Talbot. I went with Peyton. And this was a time where I was just like, at some point, physicality matters. Dude, Peyton, even though he's gay, and he's like, really cringe, and every time he sort of like gloats or flexes in the octagon, you're kind of just like, you're a prick. He is good. Like, his striking is good. And his wrestling and takedowns have been okay. I think the Honey Barcelos one was just like, dude, Honey is like sneaky underrated good. But yeah, Henry Cejudo just ain't him anymore. You know, he just ain't it. He showcased a great retirement ending. He had great heart in this fight. He was tough as shit. Really showcased that Mexican race buff, being super, super fucking tough. But he wasn't able to really do much, you know? He kept on blitzing forward. He'd get tagged 4 or 5 times while blitzing and land maybe a strike. And then Peyton starts flexing in round one by getting, I think, 2 or 3 takedowns. Um, and yeah, he was fucking with Henry Cejudo pretty bad in round one, and it was just like, shit, you hate to see it for a Henry. Especially as someone who, like, I like Henry as a personality. I think he's one of those personalities that's just fun to have around because he's different. Um, but yeah, round one, Peyton Talbot just dominated, wasn't even close. Round two, had Henry on skates, whooping his ass. Stuff takedowns, did really, really well. Round three, Peyton did really, really well as again, just piecing up Henry. It wasn't a masterclass. It was pretty close to a masterclass, by Peyton Talbot, which is crazy to think about. Because when this was announced, I was like, dude, Henry is gonna masterclass Peyton Talbot on the ground. But we saw in the Song Yadong fight, I don't know what's wrong with Henry. Dude just doesn't want to wrestle. I know he got his Olympic medal like 20 years ago or something, but I don't get it, man. When your credentials are wrestling, why the fuck aren't you wrestling? Like, I just don't get it. But yeah, I picked Peyton Talbot purely because of physicality, and I even said it. When it comes to the takedowns, the reason why I went with Peyton Talbot for the physicality, when it comes to takedowns, I just saw Peyton Talbot being able to just out sort of technique the takedowns, like wrenching those arms. I don't think he really wrenched any arms. I think he just got underhooks in this fight, but yeah, Peyton Talbot gets it done. And dude, Peyton's gonna be ranked number 10. Do Peyton Talbot like Rob Font or something. I think that's probably the fight to make. Henry Cejudo retired. GG Henry. Yeah, we move on. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I went with Tatsuro Taira. A lot of people picked Brandon Moreno. I get it. Moreno's good. Round one arguably could have been Taira's, and I mean that in the sense that Brandon Moreno basically didn't do anything until Tatsuro was ahead in the round, and then Moreno like pulled an armbar, or he pulled like a weird triangle, but he pulled a triangle that wasn't in at all, and for 4 minutes of that round, I had to, oh man, Jesus Christ, being dizzy and just hearing Joe Rogan every 5 seconds, it's in, man, it's in. Dude, that choke is in, man. I wanted to fucking put my head through a goddamn wall. Jesus Christ. Frustrating as shit. But yeah, Tatsuro Taira landed some punches. If he landed more punches in round one while being in that not in choke, I think Tatsuro Taira would have clearly won that round. But arguably, you could say round one was Taira's. And my breakdown was just like, if Taira can get the back once, it's over. At least for the round. And round two, he very quickly starts going for the back, gets the back, starts transitioning to the full mounts, flattens out Brandon Moreno. I get the stoppage because Moreno wasn't responding and he was just getting his ass whooped. And Taira landed like 8 or 9 unanswered strikes or something like that. Just wailing on Brandon's fucking cranium while Brandon just had nothing for him. But I do think it was a little bit earlier. Now, the position and everything is kind of just like Brandon Moreno's kind of fucked. He's not really getting out of that. I really don't think there was a way for him to get out of that. Because the other thing, too, is that, like, if Brandon Moreno tried to buck or, like, stand up, Taira would probably instantly go for the rear naked anyways. So I think Moreno would have lost in round two anyways. Either him trying to get up or him making a mistake on the ground or something. But I do think it was an early stoppage. Maybe let like Tyra land 20 or 30 strikes, something like that. I think 8 or 9 was a little bit too early. But yeah, Tatsuro Taira gets it done. My prediction's right. And we're most likely seeing Tatsuro Taira versus Joshua Van sometime next year. Interesting fight. We move on. The most disappointing fight of all time. Alejandro Pantoja loses his GOAT status and has lost his path to being the flyweight GOAT due to his arm breaking in round 1 against Joshua Van. He was doing well, lands a head kick. Van grabs the leg, and as Pantoja postures, his arm snaps in half. And we're not going to see Pantoja for a couple months. And by a couple months, probably like 6 or 7. Oh, shit. God, my brain's cooked. Anyways, yeah, this sucks. This really, really sucks. I had Pantoja winning. Joshua Van won because of the arm break. He lost aura, like, Joshua Van lost aura by celebrating the way he did. I get it. But in interviews and shit, now that we're a day afterwards, he's gone on record basically saying like, yeah, I want to fight the real Pantoja. I think Pantoja is one of the best fighters. And Pantoja's like the GOAT at flyweight, stuff like that. Is he though? You know what I mean? Like, I'm very high in Pantoja. I think Pantoja was way closer to GOAT status than someone like Merab, but that title defense streak is now over. So Mighty Mouse is probably licking his fucking lips right now, being like, heh, no one's getting to those 11 title defenses ever. But yeah, Pantoja, he's only getting older. I'm not too worried about the age. I think in the rematch, this is tough though, because I don't know if Pantoja is going to be questioning himself in the next fight with the arm break, you know? Because we've seen it a couple times where fighters will get injured and then all of a sudden they just don't do as well as they did before because maybe they're scared of another injury happening. I don't think Pantoja's that dude, but I think you'll win the rematch. But yeah, Joshua Van era is here. Lost some aura with that celebration, gained some aura back because he's admitted that he wants to fight Pantoja because he's still the GOAT and everything. And he doesn't really look at this as like a real fight. So good for Joshua Van. He has mystical powers to break someone's arm. So yeah, do Joshua Van, Tatsuro Taira. Probably, honestly, they could even do January, maybe February, something like that. Yeah, probably February or something. February, I think is good. Van and Tatsuro Taira didn't really take any damage, so they can book this like instantly, pretty much. We move on. Main events. Despite me being sick, I still appreciated this for what it was. Merab Dvalishvili took on Peter Yan in the rematch, where everyone counted out Peter Yan. Even like I didn't think Peter Yan had a chance. You know, the main excuse from Peter Yan was like he had a broken right hand, and I even mentioned it. He also said he had like a health condition at the time where his nervous system was on fire. Turns out that mattered. Turns out that really, really mattered. You know? And now Sean O'Malley is the lineal bantamweight champion right now. Can't wait for that rematch. Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan 2 after Sean O'Malley beat Song Yadong. Yeah. Merab got fucked up bad. Merab got masterclassed by Peter Yan. I didn't think it was possible. And I thought Peter Yan left rounds way too close in order to clearly win against Merab. Turns out Peter Yan's just a better wrestler than Merab, a better striker than Merab, which that, like, I knew. Because Merab's striking is fucking horrendous. And I've always said that. Um, I thought Merab's takedowns were improving. Turns out I was wrong. Merab just sucks. His wrestling is just shit. Um, I've no doubt there's gonna be some sort of fucking excuse. Merab's gonna say, my XYZ was broken. Somebody, one of the commentaries was saying in like round 3 that his jaw was compromised. He has a wired jaw. Anyways, dude, they credit him 2 sub attempts. I don't think he should have been credited for 1. The fuck? Anyways, round 1, I thought was close. I think I give round 1 to Merab. Though I was talking to a friend at the time, he gave round 1 to Peter Yan because of the damage, so I get that. And then round 2 happened, and I thought Merab outlanded in round 2. But there was a little bit more visible damage from the Peter Yan striking. I just thought round 1, Peter Yan got wobbled earlier, like early in the fight. And then Merab got like a nose cut or whatever. But I thought Merab landed the stronger punch in round 1, so that's why I give Merab round 1. Round 2, I give Peter Yan, because even though Merab was like outlanding Peter Yan a bit, Peter Yan was still throwing back pretty heavy shit. So yeah, round 1 Merab, round 2 Peter Yan. Round 3, 4, and 5 were just Peter Yan masterclasses. Shooting takedowns, getting takedowns in Merab, stuffing every takedown. And he literally just whooped his ass. Like he did. Round 2, or round 3, he even picked up Merab and dunked him on his head like he was Leon Edwards. Like he was Bilal versus Leon. Just fucking dunked him right on his cranium. And then he just started whooping his ass. He landed the far better strikes. 458 attempted strikes is crazy. That's a fake number. But yeah, Peter Yan whooped his ass. Enough said. You know, he landed the better strikes. Landed a nice body kick, I want to say round 4. Might have been round 3. But I think it was round 4 where Merab just screamed. And after that moment, Peter Yan won the fight. Because every single time he landed a body shot, Merab screamed in pain. Like, legit screamed. If you had audio on, he was screaming in pain. You know? And Merab, he doesn't quit. And I always thought the way to beat Merab is just to fucking finish him. Turns out Peter Yan just needs to masterclass Merab. You know? Prime Peter Yan. I think at what, 33? How old is he? 32. Holy shit, man. Peter Yan's still young. But yeah, we're in for a Peter Yan era. I think he beats Umar. This Peter Yan beats everyone in the division, no question. I don't know if we're gonna get this Peter Yan in every single fight. That's crazy, man. Dude, Marcus McGee did better than Merab. That's crazy to think about. Song Yadong did better than Merab. That's crazy to think about. I think they'll do the instant rematch, and then they'll do Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan after the instant rematch. Merab's in the hospital right now, probably broken ribs. His face is fucked up. He didn't get credited for a knockdown. Interesting. But yeah, Peter Yan masterclasses Merab to take the belt back. In an all or nothing performance. That's crazy, man. What a wild timeline we're in. Even though I lost money on this because I did a $75 parlay on Merab Pantoja, I don't even care. They were sick fights. I mean, the Van one pisses me off, but it was a sick fight with Peter Yan just masterclassing Merab. So I don't mind it. So yeah, even though I lost money on this card, of course I had to bet. It was the last card till Paramount. But yeah, tune in for next week. We'll see how this week goes. I'm still sick as shit. Man, after this, I'm just gonna lie down for a while. But yeah, tune in for next week where we get the final card till the Paramount era, Brandon Royval versus Manel Capet. Yeah. UFC 323. This has been the recap. This has been the breakdown. Wicked card. If the co-main event was better, it might have been the best card of all time. This was definitely the best card I've ever watched live. Even though I was sick as shit. But if you made it to the end of the video, as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.